What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Rezolve AI, I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points for this upcoming week, we do have a couple big ones that could move the market. One is on Monday, so pending home sales, and this is largely based on what Powell mentioned is kind of on the watch list for the Feds. So we have labor as well as housing. So in general, that one's going to be one to potentially watch for. And then aside from that, on Tuesday, we do have Chicago PMI, FOMC minutes. In the past, FOMC minutes hasn't really been that big of a deal, but now the market's going to be really looking at it just to see the ratio on what the members are truly feeling and how kind of they're voting and so forth. So in general, that one is going to be a little bit more of a market mover because the market really wants a January rate cut, and they're going to be looking at any and all reasons to kind of justify that and to start pricing that in. So that's going to be something to watch for. Wednesday, we just have the regular stuff, so initial jobless claims. Thursday, the market is closed because of New Year's. And then Friday, we do have the S&P Global Manufacturing. So at the end of the day, not all that much in data, but still it could be a very volatile time. Aside from that, nothing really specific to Rezolve planned for this upcoming week. So we do have the next big catalyst going to be their kind of investor and analyst day, or that call that is going to be on January the 13th. So aside from that though, I think just Rezolve has been at the mercy of just the broader market. It's been getting influenced by algorithmic trading quite significantly over the last couple trading days. But there's one thing I do want to kind of bring up, even though it's not associated to Rezolve. This is exactly why I am bullish on just the sector itself, and why I've stated that Rezolve, regardless of everything and people's, whether you're bullish or bearish, the sector itself is going to continue to grow, and through that, Rezolve is going to expand. Whether they hit their actual milestones or not, that's going to be determined if they kind of are going to be a massive breakout or not. But Ernest on here on Twitter just said that I just ordered a gift on Amazon using a AI assistant to find out of the network companies and so forth. So this goes to show real world example that like it's going to be used, and it's what Rezolve is doing in theory is going to really benefit the consumer. And this in reality, I feel like, I don't know if Rezolve can just pay and kind of get some influencers to review them, because that's one thing that I've never really seen is people actually give this type of review of Rezolve. Clearly they have their upcoming call, so they're going to be showing that they have good clientele and good customers. But generally, it'd be good to have this. So I don't know if they can actually get some influencers involved and just do like a marketing campaign that way, because that might actually do a little bit better rather than what they have been kind of doing for PR. And so yeah, let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from all that fun stuff regarding shorts, and this is something I've stated quite significantly in the past, is that shorts have started to kind of find Rezolve, and they are targeting them right now. So 21.26% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 25.24 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow kind of on the low end, so 2.28%. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate. Just on Friday alone, shorts increased roughly around 40,000 shares. So shorts, whoever is shorting Rezolve definitely knows their stuff. They are strategically hitting it when it is starting to build up some good momentum. So it's purposefully being kind of suppressed. So again, I think the main reason why that is occurring is because institutions aren't really getting in. So most likely institutions are just waiting for the upcoming call on the 13th. But these are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So this obviously is a lot of institutions. One buy right here for 167,000. The rest are sells. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool, which was rather quiet, most of which obviously is going to be associated to shorts. There's a couple right here that most likely is linked to hedge funds because they like to use the whole numbers, so 50,000 and 40,000. So hedge funds are a little bit more active, and we do have a couple trading dates left in Q4. So most likely a lot of hedge funds and institutions will be kind of rebalancing. So might see some abnormal volume this upcoming week. So again, I'll bring that up if I see it in following videos. But key levels to watch for this week, with it at 285, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 271 and 231 is going to be support levels. 337 and then 402 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. So I'm looking at the 1-day chart. So this is going to be very strong support and resistance points. But moving quickly over to the 1-minute chart. So for those of you that want to day trade, swing trade, it is trading between, looks like it is on this pivot point. So 276, 271 is going to be support levels. So just kind of watch for those to hold on Monday. And then 293 followed by 298 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. So all in all, just kind of watch for a lot of that. If you do believe in Rezolve, I know it's a very frustrating stock, extremely volatile stock. So best thing to do might be just to kind of dollar cost average in reality. But aside from all that fun stuff on the actual chart itself, going into this upcoming week, it is wedge bound between this 200 and also that 10-day moving average. So luckily enough, it's actually been holding above that 10-day moving average, shows that it has a little bit of momentum. Of course, you can kind of see volume has been dropping quite significantly, but because of the recent price action, stochastic RSI going into this upcoming week is really showing that Rezolve is overbought. Nothing really wrong with that. Of course, a lot of stocks can stay overbought for extended periods of time, but what that means is the first sign of weakness, you could see some consolidation. So again, don't be surprised if you see continued volatility going into this upcoming week. Looking at the market position though, all Rezolve needs is a nice gentle push, and then it can easily go higher. From the market position, you see some willing sellers up to around that 315, give or take. And if it's able to really push above that, which at the same time is above that 200-day moving average, this is where you could see some explosive price action, similar to what happened here. Not saying that this is going to happen again, but I think just generally, especially on this upcoming Friday, you might see some FOMO as institutions and retail might want to get in prior to that big call. And I mentioned that numerous times just in this video alone, because that is the next big catalyst, and most likely that could actually get them on a lot of other kind of firms' radar and get them some new ratings. Because a lot of these, no hate towards Cantor and Wainwright and Maxim, but they're all like B-level firms. Like nobody really cares and pays attention to a lot of these ones. And I think in general, the reason why they've actually given ratings on Rezolve is just because Rezolve's participated in their kind of fireside chats in the past. So I don't really see these as crazy positive whatsoever. One thing as well that just came down the pipeline, so on December the 24th, Cantor did upgrade Rezolve from a $7 to an $8 price target. So let me know your general thoughts on Rezolve. So I feel like the next couple of weeks are going to be pretty big for Rezolve, either pushing it back above, let's say, that $4 range, close to that 100-day moving average, or really break it down where you could see kind of the high ones. So definitely we're going to be seeing some extreme moves in the next little bit. Where do you see things going? Are you buying? Are you selling? What's your kind of general thoughts on Rezolve? This upcoming week, I do feel, just based on the minutes that is coming out, that the market's going to be fairly optimistic and kind of move higher. So as a byproduct, Rezolve will piggyback off of that because, of course, most of the volume does come from algorithmic trading, and this is how Rezolve kind of moves. So at the end of the day, I feel like we might be seeing a little bit of a uptick, but nothing significant. So we won't be seeing kind of $4 range, maybe the low threes, but definitely below that 50-day moving average. Let me know your viewpoint. One final thing, pop over to my stacked account if you're looking for some on-point day trades, swing trades. I actually do have a promotion right now that it is valid up until the end of the month, and it is $1.50. That is it. So once you lock that in, it will never increase for you. So it'll give you some solid day trades. Pop over to my stacked account in the description below to kind of take advantage of that. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.